Hey guys, welcome to the Doula Diaries. I'm Heidi. I'm the host of the Birth Story podcast, which drops birth story episodes and expert interviews every Thursday. I'm also the author of the Birth Story Pregnancy Guidebook and Journal. It is everything, 529 pages of everything that you need to know to prepare for your birth. You can get that at birthstory.com. And I am also the content creator for Birth Story Academy, where you go for online learning from a virtual doula. You can also get into my private Facebook community through Birth Story Academy. And here on Tuesdays is where we meet for Doula Diaries. So welcome. Before we get started, I would love to have you guys in Birth Story Academy. It is premier childbirth education for your hospital birth, no matter what the birth looks like that you're planning. So medicated, unmedicated, a wait and see attitude, a belly birth, an induction, there is a module for all of it. And I have a blank name tag at your seat waiting to put your name on it. And the best part about Birth Story Academy is that I get to be your virtual doula. You go into my private Facebook group where I interact with you every single week and cheer you on as you plan and prepare for the birth that you want, no matter what that looks like. So I hope you will go to birthstory.com and enroll in Birth Story Academy today. Hey, Jenna, welcome to Doula Diaries.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I am very excited for you to be sharing about what you actually need for a new baby. So,
yeah, it's not as much as you think.
Remind us how many babies you have.
I have 4. I had 4 kids in 5 years.
So you guys, she's an expert. And her blog from Parenthood and Pushups.com and same IG, Parenthood and Pushups, will be linked in the show notes so you can follow along. So we're going to really talk about what you do and do not need to put on your registry. And then you can reference it all on Jenna's blog. Sound good?
There you go.
All right,
Yeah.
Jenna. All right, let's get it started. So first I want to know, when you're building out a registry or you're thinking about shopping, like where are you recommending moms do this?
You know, there are not many places that I would say give you a really good, realistic idea of what you need for a baby. Because if you're using something like a baby list registry or Buy Buy Baby or anywhere that you could buy things, they're probably going to encourage you to buy more, which is not necessarily what you need to do. I found one really good resource is this book, and she actually has a podcast as well. Her name is Diane, and she is the author of Minimalist Moms, which if you're not a minimalist, you don't have to be a minimalist in order to be able to follow what she says. But she gave me the freedom to be able to say, I don't need this for my baby. And that was a huge, huge thing for me, because there's so much pressure behind, like, you're having a baby, you need to get all of the stuff, and you really don't need it.
Yeah. So you have 4 in 5 years.
4 kids. Yeah.
So on number 1, did you do that thing we all do, which is buy all the things and register for all the things?
Oh man, so much stuff. And we lived in a 2-bedroom, like, little townhouse, and it was filled to the brim with things. So much so that we had to store stuff also at my parents'. So like, as Emily grew out of things, I would have to store her clothes or baby gear or whatever else at my parents'. Plus, it was just like shoved behind couches and chairs and in every drawer and closet you could possibly imagine. We got all the stuff to start.
So after having 4 in 5 years, like, you are now an expert on what you actually use and what you don't use and what you use for 1 kid versus 2 versus 3 versus 4. All right. So we're going to break down each of the things in your blog. So I want you to start with just talking to us about the things that you think the audience actually needs, not wants, needs. Minimalist moms over here. But like, what do you need to come home from the hospital, or if you're having a home birth, what do you need in your house or from the birth center? But what do you need for your baby on day one?
Okay, so I would say just start with the basics. You need a place for your baby to sleep. They have to sleep somewhere. You could have a bassinet in your bedroom. You could also just start with a pack and play. You could just go straight to the crib. Sleep is a personal preference for a lot of people. For us, we did a bassinet, and then I would actually transition our kids into a pack and play with like the pack and play lifted for a little bit. And then they would go into their rooms and their cribs. But the thing is that every time that they were done with the bassinet, I sold it. I didn't actually keep it. So I would buy one, have it cleaned, and then sell it because it's a lot to store. So start with somewhere to sleep, total personal preference.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to add on to that. This is not in your blog. I'm going to put you on the spot on this one. But what about a place to sleep when traveling? What did you end up using, or what do you use for sleep travel?
Okay, so for a newborn, they make these really cool things. They're actual travel bassinets. They fold up super flat. The one that we had was a Brica, however you say it.
Okay.
And they fold flat so you can fit it in a suitcase. And then you can put it, and it has a harder mattress, so it's not like an overly fluffy surface, so you're not worried about anything. And you can put it on a bed, or you can make like a nice little nest on the floor. And we would use that until they would roll. And then once they were rolling, it was always a pack and play.
Got it.
Because you just want to make sure they're safe.
Yeah. And another thing that I found is if you call a hotel in advance and ask them if they have pack and plays, often they have pack and plays and you don't even have to bring it. But another pro tip I found out when traveling is that if you do bring a pack and play, a car seat, a stroller, all these things, they don't charge you to check those things. The airlines don't. Like the baby equipment you can check for free, which is kind of awesome. Okay.
That is awesome.
So a place to sleep. All right. That's pretty important. All right. Yep. What's the next one?
A car seat, which obviously non-negotiable. You got to have at least one of those, right? You got to be able to take your kids somewhere safely.
Can we talk about the car seat for a minute though? This was something that was really frustrating when Jagger was born, and it was just a few years ago. The fire departments had stopped doing like safety checks. And so I had no idea, like, how do I install it and know I installed it properly? Do you have any tips for that?
You know, I'm pretty sure we installed Emily's car seat wrong for like the first couple of months of her life because of the same reason. And we ended up having to just use YouTube. Like we just YouTubed how to install car seat correctly and put in like our actual car seat model. And that's how we figured out that we were doing it incorrectly to begin with. But yeah, if you can find a car seat check, they're hard, but if you can find one, obviously that's ideal. But otherwise, you know, use the good old Google.
Yeah, we used YouTube. That's what we ended up using also. Okay, what's another must-have for the registry?
Obviously diapers and wipes. You're going to go through them, whether you choose a cloth diaper or you do disposable diapers. You'll go through a ton of them. I would say don't get too many of the smaller sizes to begin with, because you'll just go through the sizes so quickly. Like Jay, he's our 4-month-old currently, and he's a big dude, and he's already in size 4 diapers. So like if we were planning for, So if we were planning for him to be in like size 2s for a really long time, we would have had a lot of extra size 2s because he was not in 2s for very long. So diapers and wipes are a good thing to register for. You have to store them if you don't have a place to store them. That can be hard, but you could also ask for gift cards for those as well.
Ooh, gift cards. That's a really good idea for your diapers and wipes. Yeah. And then there's like the diaper subscription services too that I really like, that you can get gift cards to like the Honest Company, or if you're doing cloth diapering, to maybe one of the services that launders the cloth diapers for you too.
Yeah, that's smart. So, I like that one.
Yeah. I will say, here's another pro tip on diapers though. Size up at night. That's something people don't know to do that. I'm like, so if your baby's in a size 2, put them in a 3 for bedtime, and they just will sleep better. Just trust me on that one.
Yes.
So
Yep.
Okay, what's next on your list?
I would say a stroller is a really, really good thing to have. And for us, we did two different strollers when we started. We've gone through multiple strollers with our kids. So we did a Bob single, and then we did just a regular go to the mall single stroller. And the regular go to the mall single stroller was the first one that we got rid of. And we got a City Select that you can have as a single or a double. And I think I would have preferred to do that first, because if you have a second kid, your single stroller becomes just not helpful at all, if you have two kids that go in strollers. So I found, though, that I used the Bob more than anything because I was outside going for walks. It gave me a ton of freedom. And then once we had two kids, we got a double Bob, and that thing is a beast, but it's worthwhile for sure. And now with four kids, we actually have graduated from most all stroller usage, and we use a Veer wagon, and it is fantastic because I can haul my older kids. So the thing with the stroller is that by the time they're 3, maybe 4, they grow out of it, or they're too big for it, or they're not into it. And then what's the point of it? But with a wagon, it's nice because I can still use it when they're older.
Yeah. I only have 2 kids, not 4 like you, but we ended up doing the double stroller, and then we did the kickstand on the back. So then they could ride, so like by the time they were 3 or 4, they wanted to stand up and ride. And so then I could just kind of have one in a seat and one ride, and then they would switch back and forth. So
yeah, that's nice too. I like that.
All right. I like where we're going here. Okay. We have a place for them to sleep. We have a place to drive them around. We have a stroller. We have diapers and wipes. What's next on your list?
I think diaper cream is a really, really good thing to have. We always just went towards Aquaphor. There's a lot of different kinds. The only thing that I would say with buying diaper cream is don't buy it in bulk before you know what your baby's skin will react to. So I wouldn't put that as like a major registry item. I would get that as like a travel size or a smaller size. You need some on hand as soon as you get home, but you never know what kind of skin your kid's going to have, and you never know what they're going to need. So it's helpful to know that you're probably going to have to order something off of Amazon at 2 a.m. and that's okay.
Yeah, that's good. We tried so many, and our kids really only responded to A&D ointment or Boudreaux's butt cream. So
there you go.
This is not a sponsored podcast episode, you guys. So all of these are just real recommendations from 2 moms. Okay, what's next?
Your baby needs something to wear. So you're probably going to need some clothes.
Okay.
But I would say you need a lot less clothes than you think that you need, because they go through them real quick. I mean, newborn sizes, unless you have a preemie or a very, very small baby, you will not be in those sizes for very long at all. And then after that, it kind of just snowballs. And before you know it, you have a 4-month-old that's in 6-month clothes.
Yep. And then you have a closet full of all these cute little newborn or 0 to 3-month-old clothes. You could be like me and your baby came out almost 11 pounds and never fit into any of those clothes either.
Yeah.
So,
and everybody loves to buy baby clothes. Everybody loves to buy you baby clothes. But the thing is they all buy the little itty bitty sizes, and they don't buy you the sizes for when they get a little bigger, and they stay in those sizes for longer because they grow so fast in the beginning. So all the really tiny sizes, I would not suggest having too much in those little sizes.
Yeah, that's good. I think 9 to 12 month is the best gift that you can give or register for.
For sure.
Okay, what else is on there?
Blankets. You got to keep your kid warm. So, get some good blankets. There's a lot that goes into finding a good baby blanket. I mean, when you think about the purpose of a blanket, it's to keep them warm, maybe to swaddle them, maybe to cover them in the car seat, to lay them down on. So you have a lot of purposes behind them. Therefore, you might want some that are thicker and heavier that are better for like laying down on the floor, or, like a really good soft one to swaddle them with. And then if I'm being honest, the more kids that I have, the more that I use the blankets for other purposes other than just blanketing. So I'd be like, oh no, I need a burp cloth. Well, no, I don't. I got a blanket. It's fine. I'll just use a blanket instead. So maybe some absorbency, look for that in the blanket as well. But again, you don't need as many as you think you do. I would say like a good solid 6 to maybe 8, but you're going to be washing a lot of stuff anyways. So, you know, use the ones that you have instead of keeping them in your drawer to look at for later.
Yeah. And any first time parent is like 6 to 8 is the minimalist. Yes, it is. So,
Mm-hmm.
all right, what's next?
All right. So baby wearing, I would say this is where you should spend the most time and effort. If there's any baby gear besides your stroller or your car seat that you're looking at, get a really good baby carrier and then also get a really good baby wrap. So when you have a newborn, you can wrap them, you can keep them super close. You can use it with like just a nursing bra or nursing tank, and you can have more skin to skin benefits. And then as they get bigger and older, if they want to be forward facing or you want like a bigger, heavier duty carrier, you have one of those too. Because really, at the end of the day, your baby just wants you. And so if you can just provide that for them, they're going to be okay. So
Yeah.
I'd say definitely concentrate on that.
Everything on your list, that's the number one for me. Like if I could only
Mhm.
get one thing, right? If I could only afford one thing, it would have been a good wrap or carrier. And I just wore my babies all day, all night, so I could have my hands free when I needed them. And some of my favorite pictures were like of my partner like wearing the baby too, you know? And I would
That's
just
so
come
sweet.
home and it would just melt my heart. And also the like babysitters. I would like hook those wraps right up on the babysitter and if they wanted to go for a walk or anything with the baby. So the wraps they're just amazing, you guys. And again, this is not a sponsored episode. So we can just kind of tell you our favorites. I use the baby Bjorn and the Ergo. What'd you use?
I use the baby Catan and the Ergo. And just a side note on multiple kids, I would say I would not have survived early days of having a newborn and a lot of young, older kids without having been able to baby wear. It just makes a huge difference because then you're not trying to actually hold your baby. Your baby is safe and secure, but you also have hands for your older children. And that's a big thing.
Yeah. I think a couple other brands to maybe check out are the Thule and the Beluga. So those are some to research too. So okay, what's another must have, Jenna?
All right. So a secondary safe place for your baby to be. And what I mean is that they'll have their bed and then they need like one other good place where they're out of the way of the dog or the cat or older siblings or the vacuum cleaner or like right now, Jay is rolling and scooting. So it's nice when I have a place that I can put him. So I know that if I go run and wash my hands and come back, he's going to be where I left him. So we usually have a pack and play that we leave in our living room for several months. And what we do is we have it so that it's set up in little bassinet stuff, like with it for the newborn. And then as he or your child gets bigger, you can convert it into more of a pack and play, and they're contained and they're safe. But a secondary place for that, and I think that would be preferable over any sort of like a bouncer or an exerciser or any kind of a seat because they are able to still roll around and move, but they're safe and they're contained.
Yeah, they have got free movement of their body. Yep. I
Right.
follow an occupational therapist, Can Do Kiddo, Rachel Coley, and she
Mm-hmm.
really is passionate and talks about how important it is to not have your babies in all day holding devices, but so that they
Mm-mm.
can move their neck and their arms and their head and still be safe. So, okay, what's next?
A pump and bottle supplies.
Okay.
Yep. So I wouldn't get too many bottles because you never know what your baby's going to want. Kind of like the diaper cream, you just never know. But it's good to have something to start with, and it's good to start right away. And I have made this mistake several times. I normally exclusively breastfeed my babies, and I am currently trying to teach my 4-month-old how to take a bottle now because I have not done a good job of getting him to take bottles from the beginning. So if there's anything you hear from this episode, give your baby a bottle once a day if you're breastfeeding, and have a bottle on hand as soon as you bring them home because it helps you. It's a good thing. And then
Yeah.
don't be like me and wait until it's too long.
Jagger starved himself out. Like I went back to work at 7 months and he was exclusively breastfed. And I wasn't able to breastfeed my first, Max. So he just had a lip tie and a tongue tie and just all the things. And so I exclusively pumped with Max. And so when Jagger came and he was able to easily breastfeed, we just breastfed the whole time. Well, 7 months later, I had to go back to work and he wouldn't take a bottle. He starved himself out. My poor, sweet nanny, Chelsea. Oh my God, for 3 weeks. 3 weeks, he didn't take a bottle while I was at work. All day, waited for me. Finally, he caved. If I could start another company, Jenna, it would be, which I'm not going to, but it would be to send one type of every bottle with different nipples to first time birthing persons so that they would have
brilliant.
like one of each one. So if you're building out your registry, I mean, that's something that I would say is kind of curate that. Like register for every nipple is so different on a bottle. Like, so just buy one of each bottle and then try them all out and see which one your baby likes.
Yeah, that's smart.
Hint, it's going to be the one that most resembles your actual nipple.
Yep.
So
there you go.
is the way it goes. Okay, what else do you have?
Okay, so this is a personal preference. It's also a really weird thing, but the windy, that is one thing that I think is a really, really good thing to have because babies are gassy. And in my experience, the easiest way to relieve that gas is to use a windy. And
I don't know what it is. What's a windy?
Okay, we're going personal here. Okay. So windy is basically something that you like put in their little bottoms and it like helps their sphincter relax so that they can fart when they need to.
I've never, ever heard of this.
I guess old school, they used to do like the thermometer trick where you like would use a rectal thermometer. But it has like a hole in the middle. So the gas comes out and it actually does make like a little whistle when it goes. So you know that it's working.
Wow.
But it feels slightly barbaric to do, especially if you're a first time parent. But I feel like if you can do it and you know that it will give your baby relief and you will get some sleep, try it. So have just like a little box of them on hand. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But I think that it's a really, really helpful thing to have on hand.
Very cool. Neat tip. I have never heard of it. Is there anything else on the must-have list?
You definitely need to have a nice small stock of baby first aid supplies.
Okay.
And the reason is because I learned this the hard way with my first. She had a fever and I didn't know what to give her. And so I'm like, John, we gotta go to CVS. We gotta get medicine. Like she's too little for medicine, but no, she's not. And we needed it. So if you just have just some baby Tylenol or some baby Motrin and a little bit on hand, not a ton, but enough to be able to get you to where you need to get to the next dose, you'll be able to not have to discover it in a panic.
Yeah.
Because that's what I did for sure.
That is a really good point. And that brings me to something I tell all of my doula clients is that when you're picking a pediatrician, I think it's really important to also pick a specialist or two of body